Hi, grade one. Today's math is something more. If you actually have shapes and blocks at home, would be probably better to play with them and try and make things out of your shapes. But, I'm not at your house, you're not at school. So I'm gonna teach you what we're gonna do today in our math book, but yeah. From me, if you can play with your shapes, that would be the best. Because what I want you to do is look at the shapes that we've learned. So we've learned spheres and cylinders and cones and cubes and rectangular prisms. And if you had those shapes, what kind of 3D shapes would you use to like show a person's head? So I'm thinking a cube would not work so well, but if you had to choose, I would think that you would use a sphere. That would be the closest. And a person's arms. Well, you could do rectangular prisms, but to me, your arm looks more like a cylinder than a rectangular prism. Or a desk or a chair. Like, if you look at it, what kind of 3D shapes could you break it apart into? So, if we're going to make a table and I gave you these 3D shapes, how would you arrange them so that it looks more like a table? I'm gonna change them. Why not? I can do whatever I want to. So if I'm gonna make a table, I'm gonna use cylinders for the legs, and you could put one leg over there, one leg over there, one leg over there, and on top, I'm gonna put that on top. And on top I would put, so it doesn't work exactly, but So for a table, you could use cylinders for the legs and a rectangular prism on top. You could also use, narrow rectangular prisms for the sides. So if we're going to make a crayon, what are the 3D shapes you would use to make a crayon? Well, you're not going to use a rectangular prism for that. I would use a cylinder, and then the top of a crayon would look like a cone. So I've got some cones here. But obviously not all of the cones are going to fit on top of our cylinder super well. This doesn't fit. And this cone looks more like an arrow. And if I put this cone on top, that looks the most like a crayon. So somebody here has made a truck. And if you look at the 3D shapes in our truck, you can see, so the back of the truck is going to be a rectangular prism. You can see for the wheels, they've made out of cylinders, and the cab of the truck is a cube. And look, even the lights are squished, but those are cylinders. So hey, if you have shapes at home, why don't you try and make a truck or a house? See if you can figure out all the shapes they've used in the house. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe more. So the biggest part of the house is a cube. The door, rectangular prisms. The chimney is a cylinder. The smoke are spheres. The trees are cones. And we haven't learned this. This is a pyramid. Square or triangle at the bottom and triangle sides. Here's just a tower. You can see all of the shapes that they've used to make the tower, except One is going to be missing because you really can't build a tower with that. I want you to think about which shape could you not really use so well to build on top of each other with. Because a sphere is totally round and no flat sides at all, you can't really use it to build a tower. This is not a cone. This is a really pointy pyramid. See, it's got the triangle sides and a square bottom. So you have 3 pages to do in your math. On page 151, you have to color the cones yellow, the cubes green, the cylinders red, and the rectangular prisms blue. There's no sphere up here, so guess what you're not going to do with the sphere? And you look at the structures that they've built out of the shapes and circle each shape, 3D shape that they've used to build this structure. So, do you see a cylinder? Yes, I do. Circle it. Do you see a cube? No, I don't. Don't circle it. Do you see a rectangular prism? Yes, at the bottom. Circle it. Do you see a cone? Yep. It's pointier, but there it is. Then you use the words in the word box and you write the name of the shape beside it. So this is a cone, you write cone, cylinder, etc. At the bottom you write how many. And then you can go to iknowit.com. Remember, our class code is GCS123. Your name is just your name and the first letter of your last name. So, Avery S. Or Silas V. Kayla V. Owen V. And the password is 123. Let's see. Oh, and you have to know what a defining attribute is. So, a defining attribute is what makes something something. So, an attribute about me is... I'm not going to use me. That doesn't make sense. 3D shapes. A defining attribute of this is a pyramid. What's important to know about a pyramid? Is it important to know that the pyramid has 8 edges or that it is big? What makes a pyramid a pyramid? Not that it's big, because you can have little pyramids, but that it has 8 edges, which we haven't really learned about. But maybe you'll figure it out. The edges are the edges are the lines here. What is a non-defining attribute? So what's the not important part about a pyramid? Is it not important that a pyramid is big, or is it not important that the pyramid has 5 faces? It's not important that it's big. Choose the attribute that describes all pyramids. I don't know why so much about pyramids. Are all pyramids green, or do all pyramids have 8 edges? Well, I think you should figure that one out.
Drag to complete the sentence.
All
rectangular prisms blank
are big or have 8 corners. What is the important part about a rectangular prism? I am not going to tell you. I think you should be able to figure that out.